Two food trucks recorded the number of customers served per hour in a random sample of hours. The dot plots show the results, and the mean and mean absolute deviations, MADs, for both food trucks are recorded. So what we have here is food truck A. So this dot looks like that's an hour that they sampled where 18 people were served. This other dot, it looks like 20 people were served. This looks like 4 people were served, or this looks like 4 different hours that 28 people were served, so on and so forth. That's for food truck A. Here's food truck B. And then they give us the mean, and they also give us the mean absolute deviation. And we talk about mean absolute deviation in some detail in other videos, but what they're doing is they're taking the distance, the absolute distance of each of these points from the mean, and they're taking it's the absolute value of it, so they'll all be positive, and then they're taking the mean of those. So it's the mean absolute deviation. And then they say, is there likely a meaningful difference in the typical number of customers served per hour at the two food trucks? Pause this video, have a go at that. Okay, so the first thing you might have wondered is, what is a meaningful difference? How are we actually defining that? Because it seems like a little bit of a squishy word. Well, at least in the context of this exercise and in many classrooms, they might give you a definition like this. Two sample measures of center are meaningfully different when the difference between them is greater than 2 times the larger measure of variability. Okay, so let's look at the difference between these means. We have a mean of 28 here and a mean of 41 here. So if I say 41 minus 28, that is the difference between these means is, what is this, 13? Yeah, that's 13. And now we have to compare them. We have to see if this is greater than 2 times the larger measure of variability. What do they mean by larger measure of variability? Well, in this scenario, we're using the mean absolute deviation as our measure of variability. And the larger measure of variability right over here, food truck B has a larger measure of variability. 6 is larger than 4. So we want to take 2 times that. So 2 times 6 is going to be 12. Once again, I just took 2 times that right over there. And it looks like 13 is indeed larger than 12. So the difference between the means is greater than 2, and the means are our measures of center here. The difference between those measures of center is greater than 2 times the larger measure of variability. So by this definition of meaningfully different, I would say yes, there is a meaningful difference.